The next bill on the calendar for today is House File 1354. The clerk will report the bill.
House File number 1354, number 4 on the calendar for the day, an act relating to public safety, the second engrossment.
There is an amendment at the desk. If there is no objection, I will let the author explain the bill before we act on the amendments. I recognize the author from Ramsey, Representative Moeller, who will explain the bill.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. And this bill, members, is the public safety policy package. You will note that there are many provisions in this bill that we have passed off the floor already as standalone bills, including Representative Heinzman's bill. So I know he voted no on the last bill, but we'll see if he'll vote yes on this one. He's got his provision in here. I don't know if he's even listening. Hi. Anyway, in addition to those bills that we have already passed off the floor, there are 4 provisions in here that are bipartisan and have been heard in committee clearly. One is promoting school safety by establishing a new threat reporting requirement for schools. It has been shown that when there is a threat of safety, a lot of times, especially for these younger shooters, it's been known to other people. They have indicated to others that they are struggling. And we actually have an app right now through the BCA that people can use. And we'd like more information given to students about that. And not only does it help prevent those catastrophic events, it can also really help somebody who's suffering a mental health crisis. They've actually been able to stop a number of suicides through this, especially in Lakeville. They have a really great program. They use their own system. So that's that bill. The second one is making sure that those who are in county jails have access to their prescribed medications. It's a Representative Jess Hansen bill. And we heard some really powerful testimony in committee from the mother of Larry Hill, who died in a jail. So we want to make sure that anybody who is incarcerated in our jails have access to their prescribed medications. We've got another provision in the bill that ensures that victims of domestic violence can maintain confidentiality in their communications with their advocates. This was a bill I carried last year. It really had full bipartisan support in this body. It got hung up in the other body, and I think we were able to address those concerns working with the stakeholders, and so I'm really excited. It looks like there's a path across the finish line this year. And then the final new provision that you haven't seen already is one related to body cameras. This came from the BCA. When there is an officer-involved death, we have statutory language that they need to post those videos within a certain time period. Well, now there are so many body cameras and squad car cameras, and a lot of it is extraneous, like after the fact, as they're just securing the scene. And so those are still available upon request, but we're just saying they only have to post the ones that are leading up to, related to, and right after an incident, not every single piece of footage that was shown. So those are the 4 new provisions, and with that, I'll be ready for the amendment and questions. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Representative Moeller offers the following amendment. The clerk will report the amendment.
Moeller moves to amend House File number 1354, the second engrossment. The amendment is coded A2.
I recognize the author of the amendment, Representative Moeller, who will explain the amendment.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. This was the Representative Berg bill that Representative Berg and Whitty worked on related to law enforcement being able to accept gifts. We have passed that off the House floor. The Senate's passed it. There was a concurrence. So it is on its merry way, and we don't need to include it in this bill. Thank you.
Is there any discussion to the amendment? All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed, nay. The amendment is adopted. There are no further amendments at the desk. The Chief Clerk will give the bill its third reading.
Third reading, House File number 1354, as amended.
Third reading. Discussion to the bill. I recognize the member from Stearns, Representative Perryman.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I just really want to say thank you and express my appreciation for adding and keeping HF1354 in this bill. Basically, it cracks down on sex trafficking in all of our areas. I think we can all know that you've heard a story or two from your own areas where sex trafficking is rising. And what this bill does is basically strengthens and expands the background checks for massage businesses and adult businesses, that they can include and see national data that will strengthen the license process. So I just want to say that I really do appreciate it, and I'd like to back up a little bit, because this is a second time around for this. Last session, thanks to Representative Moeller, she believed in the bill, she believed in me, and we did pass it on the floor. However, it got stuck in the other body over there, as you called out earlier, of yours, Representative Moeller, and they took it out in Senate Conference Committee. So I was not giving up, and Representative Moeller has been very supportive, Representative Novotny, to keep it going, and we did. We also passed it off the floor in March as a sole bill, but I really wanted to keep it in there, and this is a way to keep it, is in this omnibus bus bill. So I will just say, fast forward, it's a new bill. It's new bipartisan authors, a lot more authors in it, bipartisan all the way. There's a few tweaks, and importantly, it's the same intention. We are going to crack down on sex trafficking in these businesses. And we are supported by public safety. We are supported by county and city legislators. It is a good bill, and it's going to affect everyone in Minnesota. And you watch the outlying states. They're going to be looking at us and adopting the same kind of bill. So I also would like to say that when we brought it back, Representative Curran, she was so supportive as well. I think your mayor was the first one to call me that said, I talked to my rep, and she'll be calling you, and she'll be supporting all the way. So thank you over there as well. So I just want to say that I am inspired that Rep. Novotny, Rep. Moeller, you believed in it again, you brought it back. Thank you. I want to say all the thanks to that, and all the authors that signed on it. I know I've already done it. It sounds like the Emmy Awards, doesn't it? But it's my first bill of getting passed, and I'm just really excited because we're doing it for the people we represent. So my final words is this policy and this bill is a what? It really is. It's language that will strengthen the licensing, getting licensing powers to our local communities. But it's a who. I want to just say that this bill, I thank you all, because it is a who. I heard so many stories. I've had so many emails of stories once this got on the floor and got passed, that people are very excited for it. So it's about all of us, and we're all good people, and we all came together to support our constituents in our local areas. So it's a who bill, if you ask me, because we're doing it for the people of Minnesota, and we did it as a whole body in here. So thank you, and I thank you again.
I recognize the member from Stearns, Representative O'Driscoll.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Would Chair Moeller yield to a question, please?
Chair Moeller will yield for a question. Representative O'Driscoll.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. And Chair Moeller, I understand you might have referenced me earlier when I was visiting with another member. Did you have a question for me?
Representative Moeller.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. No, it was actually Representative Heinzman.
Oh.
Representative O'Driscoll. Representative O'Driscoll.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Would Chair Moeller continue to yield?
Representative Moeller will continue to yield. Representative O'Driscoll.
Well, Representative Moeller, apparently we have got Representative Heinzman completely off guard on this one. However, I do need to know, before I do decide to cast a vote on this bill, would Taylor Swift be made more safe or less safe in the state of Minnesota as a result of this bill?
Representative Moeller.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Thank you for the question. You know I love a good Taylor Swift lyric, but I am so exhausted from that former debate, I don't have any coming to mind. Maybe it is, you need to calm down.
Representative O'Driscoll.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. And you can catch our act downtown later this evening. Tickets are cheap. Make sure you tip your staff and waiters and servers. So appreciate the opportunity.
I recognize the member from Dakota, Representative Whitty.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Thank you, Chair Novotny. Thank you, Chair Moeller, for including House File 1401. It deals with missing endangered persons. It adds people, our loved ones that have dementia, Alzheimer's, or a traumatic brain injury to the list of circumstances considered endangered. It brings clarity to the law and protects these vulnerable citizens. In incidents like this, seconds and minutes matter. The designation brings a heightened law enforcement response, and it does not send out an alert to the public, such as scene and Amber Alerts. However, law enforcement typically notifies the media who air the information, and this will be something that will hopefully protect our loved ones. So thank you to all the committee members. I appreciate the good conversations, and this is a very good bill, and I would tell you to vote green, please.
I recognize the member from Sherburne, Representative Novotny.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. This is a good bill. I appreciate the fact that we work together. We've got some cleanup on bills that have been sitting around for a while, like Representative Perriman's. I appreciate the work that was done. I want to reach out because I've got a second. I want to say two things to Ellen from the other side. Thank you for working with John. And I'd like to publicly admit to the fact that twice in committee, I agreed with Representative Hollins. With that, I urge green vote.
I recognize the author of the bill, Representative Moeller.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. It is a good bill, and hope everybody can vote green. Thank you.
The clerk will take the roll. The clerk will call the names of the members participating remotely.
Baker.
Baker votes aye.
Baker votes aye. Swazinski.
Swazinski aye. Swazinski aye.
Swazinski.
Swazinski aye.
Swazinski votes aye.
The clerk will close the roll. There being 133 ayes and 1 nay, the bill as amended is passed and its title is agreed to.